The league has just announced that Luka won Western Conference Player of the Month after going 15-2 with the Lakers. And the wild part is he was also Defensive Player of the Month nominee, averaging 2.3 steals a night. Jalen Johnson, on the other hand, won the East Award for the first time in his career after going 11-2 with the Hawks and averaging 22 with 8.5 and 8.5. So, Matthew, which of these two performances was more impressive over the course of a single month?
I think, you can look at Jalen Johnson and say, it's kind of coming out of nowhere. He's leading his team. He's doing good things. Good for him. The Hawks are surging. But if you're comparing between the two, I think you're going to give it to Luka scoring 600 points in a month. And I'm making it a point to be a little nicer to Luka, because I was rewatching our episode the other day, and if you didn't know any better, you would think I was a Luka hater. And so let's give credit where credit is due. To score 600 points in a month is crazy. And I know what I keep saying is, okay, but you're making the offense too one-dimensional come playoff time, and it's not going to work in the playoffs when teams lock in on Luka. But let me stop that, because I haven't seen Luka and the Lakers in the playoffs yet. We don't know what they're going to do. So let's see what the first round looks like. If they come out in the first round and Luka's still giving them 35 every night, they're winning games, they come out of the first round easily, then, maybe this Luka-dominated offense is onto something. Because, I just want to present the other side, because I keep saying, once teams sell out to get Luka in the first round, it's over. But that's not necessarily the case. He's a very talented player. He's making a late push for MVP. So I'm taking Luka's 600 points in March over Jalen Johnson. But Jesus, man, the way Jalen Johnson's game is developed, and when you take a 6'8" small forward that can also play the four, that also starting to make their shots, in addition to playing good defense, in addition to being athletic, being able to run at the rim, get some dunks, make moves in transition. I love what Jalen Johnson can do, and I think the Hawks love what Jalen Johnson can do, because if you look at it, we talk about how hot the Spurs are. We talk about how hot the Hornets were. Yeah. The Hawks, man, I'm looking at their record. I'm counting 15, 16-2, or what do I got here? I got 14, 17-2. 17-2 over the last 19. But here's the crazy part, Sean.
And it wasn't this right around the time Kuminga came?
Yeah, but I don't think you can credit all. I mean,
chemistry. It's not so much Kuminga's done; it's the chemistry.
Yeah, and flow. Kuminga has probably played half of these games, if that. But yeah, I mean, the chemistry is definitely there. But my only caveat to that, Sean, is that obviously, I put my chips on the table. I watch the Kings games, I watch the Spurs games, I watch every other team when they play those two teams. So I see everyone twice a year. So I don't watch every single Hawks game, but every time we talk about the Hawks, it be the Hawks' own fans coming onto our chat to say, oh, no, we're not legit. We're not for real. You're not watching the games. No, this team's not getting anywhere. So I don't understand, Sean. We put some praise on the Hawks, and the Hawks brigade comes in to tell us, no, our team is actually bad. So I'm not sure what's going on with the Hawks, but I'm going to make it a...
But Matthew, is it a wolf in sheep's clothing? Is it really their fans? Because I think Atlanta has some diehard fans. I think it's other fans from other cities and stuff that's just hating on Atlanta.
Well, I mean, if they're doing that, then they're coming on our comments pretending to be Atlanta Hawks fans. That seems like a lot of work to make a YouTube account, pretend to be Atlanta Hawks fans, and come on to some random podcast. But I swear, every time we talk about Atlanta, it'd be Atlanta's own fans telling us, hey, Sean and Matthew, slow down. We're not for real. So I need to watch some Hawks games more to determine it for myself, because the fans of Atlanta, according to our chat, aren't sold on this.
Is it a thing, Matthew, that Atlanta has been let down so many times when they get to the playoffs that they don't want to jinx it? You think it might be that?
Yeah, I think this city's probably seen so many 50-32, 48-34 type teams that are kind of contenders, but then come into the playoffs and get obliterated. So I think you're onto something there. I think there's a little bit of that.
Right. And what's remarkable about Luka's March is how complete it was, Matthew. So he beat out SGA, Wemby, Joker, Kawhi, Murray, and KD for the award, all of them in the same month. And the steals number is the hidden part of the story, right? 2.3 per night puts him in an on-ball disruption territory, which completely flips the narrative about his defense. Remember, everybody talked about his defense before. So when Luka is locked in on both ends, there's an argument that right now he's one of the best players in the league playing both sides.
Steals is a misleading defensive stat, especially because if you're
Okay.
someone like Luka that's going to be playing 35, 36 minutes a night, like you could be a bad defender but sell out a couple times a game and get some steals. And everything I've seen with the eyeball test with Luka is that he's not a great defender. But like my favorite player obviously is Westbrook, and in his prime, because now he's gotten better at defense, but in his prime, he would fall asleep when he was off ball on defense. Then he would make up for it by selling out to get a couple steals a game. So his defensive numbers always looked pretty good, even when the defense wasn't necessarily there. So when you're a star player playing 36 minutes a game and you get leeway on defense, those steals aren't like Dyson Daniels steals. Those steals aren't like Jose Alvarado steals. Like, there's not really an art to it except for being out there and having the leeway to play free because you're the superstar. So I'm not ready to, I'm not ready to call him the next Mutombo because he's averaging, 2 or 3 steals a game. He's not, that's not Mutombo. That's not who's a good perimeter defender. That's probably not the best comparison. That's not Matisse Thybulle out there. That's not Andre Roberson out there on defense.
Yeah.
But if he can give you 2 steals and those steals lead to 4 points on the other side because he's taking it in transition, of course, with him, it probably leads to 6 because he's probably getting the whistle too because, he's got the best whistle in the league. Yeah, no, I mean, he had a good